Hi everyone, and welcome to this instructor video about narrative and narrative film. Let's begin with a definition of narrative. Within the context of film studies, narrative is a cinematic structure in which content is selected and arranged in a cause and effect sequence of events occurring over time. Put differently, a narrative film, also known as a fiction film, is a movie that tells a story made up of characters, places, and events, and is conceived in the mind of the film's creator. Because these films are works of imagination, their stories may be wholly imaginary or based on true occurrences. Additionally, narrative films may be realistic, unrealistic, or both. For the purposes of our class, there are 6 major elements that might shape a film's narrative. These narrative elements are story, plot, narration, point of view, characters, and setting. You might already be familiar with these terms from previous literature classes, but this video revisits each item to refresh our memories. First, let's differentiate between story and plot. Although these terms are sometimes used interchangeably, they technically mean different things. The term story refers to the entire series of events that take place in a film. For example, when we summarize a film's story for a friend, we might speak generally about what we think the film is about. Plot, on the other hand, refers to the specific events that occur within a film, as well as the order in which those events occur. A film's plot might be delivered to viewers through narration or from a specific point of view. Narration is commentary spoken by off-screen or on-screen voices. Narration may be omniscient, meaning the narrator knows everything, or limited, meaning the narrator has a restricted point of view. Point of view is the position from which a film presents the actions of the story. A film's point of view might include a narrator, if there is one, but it also includes what the camera sees, hears, and shows the audience. Additionally, a film's narrative is often shaped by its characters, the subjects who play functional roles within a plot. Characters may be major, minor, or marginal. Major characters are often divided into 2 categories: protagonist and antagonist. A protagonist is a major character who acts as a hero or overcomes challenges presented through the plot, while antagonists are major characters who oppose the protagonist. Protagonists and antagonists might be accompanied by minor or supporting characters, roles that help move the plot forward but do not appear in as many scenes. Finally, a marginal character is a minor character who lacks definition and screen time. It is important to note, however, that minor and marginal characters, despite their comparative lack of screen time, can be really interesting parts of a film. As the old adage goes, there are no small parts, only small actors. Narrative films also occupy a setting, the time and place in which a story occurs. A film might take place within a general macro setting, for example, Arizona in the 1880s, and contain multiple micro settings, such as a train station, a saloon, a bank, or a sheriff's office. When analyzing a shot or scene, take into account the macro as well as the micro setting. As I've mentioned, narrative films can be realistic, unrealistic, or both. In film studies, realism refers to filmic representations of the actual or the real, and realistic films have a tendency to view or represent things as they really are. Although anti-realism might colloquially be considered the opposite of realism, some films, such as surrealist or fantasy films, strategically blend realism and anti-realism. Regardless of how realistic or anti-realistic a film may be, most films hope to achieve a level of verisimilitude. A film's verisimilitude refers to its convincing appearance of truth. Movies are verisimilar when they convince viewers that what is on screen is real, no matter how anti-real those components may seem. Differences among a film's narrative elements, including story, plot, narration, point of view, characters, and setting, as well as how effectively those components are presented on screen, make narrative films unique from one another. As film critics, it's important that we pay attention to a film's content and form. Thanks for watching this instructor video on narrative and narrative films. Feel free to email me if you have any questions.